up a chair, because I have got a report nobody wanted to write. More than 1,300 people are dead across Europe in about a week. Not from a war, from the weather. And the man who runs the World Health Organization stood up, looked at the numbers, and said 3 words I cannot stop hearing. We were warned. Let me lay out the situation the way I was trained to. No spin, just the record. Since June 21st, the World Health Organization counts more than 1,300 excess deaths tied to this heat. France alone logged around 1,000 more deaths in a normal week. And of the people who died there, 85% were 65 or older. That is not a statistic. That is somebody's grandmother who did not make it to July. Now, I spent 40 years voting Republican, and for most of that time, I treated the word climate like a sales pitch. So when I tell you the science here is not a guess, I am arguing with my own younger self. Scientists who study this ran the numbers on this exact heat wave. They found it is about 200 times more likely now than it was a couple decades back, and it would have been virtually impossible just 5 decades ago without the warming we caused. And it broke records doing it. Germany hit 41.7 degrees Celsius 3 days running. For the folks at home, that is about 107 Fahrenheit, in a country where most houses do not even have air conditioning because they never needed it before. The WHO chief put it plain: European homes, workplaces, and schools were not built for these temperatures. He is right. We built for the world we used to have. Here is the part that turns my stomach as a guy who used to balance budgets. This is not the first report. Back on June 11th, before this latest round of dying even started, the same WHO put out a statement. Over the last 4 years, heat killed more than 200,000 people across Europe. And here is the line I cannot shake. They said most of those deaths were entirely preventable. So let me do the casualty count, the part of the report I hate the most. The dead first. More than 1,300 this week, and counting. The old folks who could not cool down. But there is a second casualty here that does not show up in a morgue. It is the warning itself. We had the report, we filed it, and we put it in a drawer. Now somebody is already typing that I have gone soft, that this is just hot summer weather, and the left wants to tax your truck over it. So let me be straight, the way I always try to be. The WHO chief did not say a bad thing happened. He said the once-in-a-generation heat wave is now happening nearly every single year. That is not a vibe. That is a trend line. And a trend line does not care how you voted. And before anybody says nothing could be done, that is the part that actually makes me angry. There is a fix, and it is boring, which is how you know it is real. Heat health action plans. Early warning systems that tell an old man on the 4th floor to get to a cool room today. Checking on the neighbor. The experts say plainly that these plans save lives. We are not waiting on a miracle cure. We are waiting on a phone tree. Here is the honest assessment, and it is not a comfortable one. We were warned, in writing, by the people whose whole job is to warn us. The heat came anyway, on schedule, and it took more than 1,300 people who did not have to die. You can argue about a carbon tax. You cannot argue with a death certificate. And you sure cannot argue with 1,300 of them. So file it with the rest of the reports we should have read the first time. The neighbor on the 4th floor was not the enemy. The heat was. And we knew it was coming. We used to expect better, and we should again. Anyway, facts are hard to argue with. I'm Mark, and this is Pixel Politics.